Okay, graphing function. So we've gone through all the parent functions. We've gone through all the transformations. Now we're just going to graph them. So let's look at this one. We know that the parent function here is the absolute value function. And if you need a refresher, that function looks like this. It's the V. Okay, absolute value V. Okay. Transformations here. So that negative on the outside reflects the x-axis. So that's going to flip it down. The 1 moves it right 1, and the 7 moves it up 7. When you're graphing these, I want you to graph them by hand. So stress is a way to remember the order in which to do your transformations to make sure you end up with the correct graph. So you have to stretch it or compress it first, reflect it second, and then you shift it horizontally and vertically. So shifting's last, reflecting second, and always stretch it first. Okay, in this case, we don't have a stretch, so we're going to flip it over the x-axis. So instead of being a V normally, it's going to flip over, and it's going to be like an A without the line. And then we're moving this right 1 and up 7. And normally you just go up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1 for the graph. But this time it's flipped, so we're just going to go down 1, over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1, over 1. And there is the graph to that function. Okay, the domain here is negative infinity to positive infinity. The range is negative infinity to 7 because it goes, so domain is left to right, range is bottom to top. The highest number we hit here is 7, and there's a bracket at 7 because it is a point. Okay, x and y intercepts, I want to teach you how to do these algebraically. So the x-intercepts, that's where you let y equal 0 and then you solve for x. The y-intercepts, that's where you let x equal 0 and solve for y. So if we look at this one, for the x-intercept, I'm going to set the equation equal to 0 and solve for x. So that's going to be 0 equals negative absolute value of x minus 7, or x minus 1 plus 7. Subtract that 7 over, so negative 7 equals absolute value, equals negative absolute value of x minus 1. Divide that negative 1, you get 7 equals absolute value of x minus 1. You have absolute value, so there's two different ones. So we have x minus 1 equals 7 and x minus 1 equals negative 7. From that one you get x equals 8. That one you get x equals negative 6. So we have two x-intercepts at 8, 0 and negative 6, 0. Okay, and you can look from our graph, you can tell that those are the two. The y-intercept, that's where it crosses the y-axis, so this time we just plug a 0 in for x and evaluate the equation. So that's going to be the negative absolute value of 0 minus 1 plus 7, so that's the absolute value of negative 1, which is 1. So negative 1 plus 7 is 6. So our y-intercept is 0, 6. Extrema, that's your max and mins. So the max here is 1, 7. Increasing interval, this is increasing from negative infinity to 1 because you're walking uphill, and then decreasing from 1 to infinity. Then end behavior, as x goes to negative infinity, f of x goes to negative infinity, and as x goes to positive infinity, f of x goes to positive infinity. Look at this one. So here our parent function is the square root of x. Remember, this graph looks like this. That 3 is going to vertically stretch this by 3. Negative inside reflects over the y-axis. And then that minus 2 moves it right 2. So remember the stress. So stretch it first. So normally we go 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 2, 9, 3. If we're vertically stretching this, this means that we're changing our y. We're scaling our y by 3. So we're going to take all these y values and multiply them by 3. That was a 3. So those same points are going to be 0, 0, 1, 3, 4, 6, and 9, 9. Okay, but we're reflecting this over the y-axis, so this is going to go backwards. So normally we would go 0, 0, 1, 3, 4, 6, wherever that is, like up here somewhere, and go from there. But since we're reflecting the y-axis, that's going to go, we're going this way. So first we're going to the left. Sorry, you can't see where my fingers are doing. So right 1, or right 2, that's this point right here. And now it reflected the y-axis, so that's our 0, 0 point. We're going to go over to the left 1 and up 3, then left 4 and up 6, and left 9 and up 9, which you wouldn't be there. So there's that graph for that. Our domain here is negative infinity to 2. Range is 0 to infinity. X-intercept, set it equal to 0 and solve it. So that's going to be 0 equals 3 square root of negative x minus 2. Divide the 3, you get 0 equals the square root of negative x minus 2. Square both sides, still get 0 equals negative x minus 2. Divide the negative 1, 0 equals x minus 2, so x equals 2. And you can tell that from the graph. Our y-intercept, plug in 0 and evaluate the equation, so that's going to be square root of negative 0 minus 2. So that's 3 times the square root of negative negative 2, so 3 times the square root of 2, which is 4.24. So this is going to be a y-intercept of 0, 4.2. Extrema, there's a minimum at 2, 0. It's never increasing, it's decreasing from negative infinity to 2. And then as x goes to negative infinity, f of x goes to 0. And then as x goes to 2, since this doesn't go to negative or to positive infinity and it stops right there at 2, we're going to say as x goes to 2, f of x goes to 0. Okay. Let's do another one. Let's do this one. So here we have f of x equals x squared. It's vertically compressed by a half. It goes left 5 and down 3. So normally we go negative 2, 4, negative 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4. But we're vertically compressing this by a half, so that means we're going to multiply all the y values by a half. So that's going to be negative 2, 2, negative 1, 1 half, 0, 0, 1, 1 half, 2, 2. Then we do our shifting, so left 5, down 3. Then we go over 1, up a half, over 1, up a half, over 2, up 2, over 2, up 2. And then it would be over 3, up 4.5, over 3, up 4.5. And there's that graph. So the domain here is negative infinity to infinity. Range is negative 3 to infinity with a bracket at negative 3. X-intercept, so we're going to set it equal to 0 and solve. Add the 3 over, multiply both sides by 2, so you get 6 equals x plus 5 squared. This, I'll go back a step. So right here, that multiplying by 2, that's because 2 times a half equals 1, so that will get rid of the half for us. Now we have 6 equals x plus 5 squared. To get rid of a square, you square root it. So you get the square root of 6 is the positive or negative 2.449, blah, 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 equals x plus 5. So we have 2.45 minus 5 equals x, and 2.45 negative 2.45 minus 5 equals x. So x equals negative 2.55 and negative 7.45. And then our y-intercept, so we're going to set it equal to 0 and evaluate. So 1 half 0 plus 5 squared minus 3, which is 1 half 5 squared minus 3. 1 half times 25 minus 3, 12.5 minus 3, which is 9.5. So our y-intercept is 0, 9.5. Extremo, we have a minimum at negative 5, negative 3. This is increasing from negative 5 to infinity and decreasing from negative infinity to negative 5. And behavior, as x goes to negative infinity, f of x goes to infinity. And as x goes to infinity, f of x also goes to infinity. Okay, this last one. So this is the step function. So it's going to be f of x equals the integer or something of x. So that's just the step function. So basically, you start here, closed circle, open circle, closed circle, open, closed, open, closed, open. We went over this in class. Closed, open, okay? So let's look and see what this is doing. So it's reflecting the x-axis, so it's flipping. It's vertically stretching by 2. It's going to go right 4 and up 1. So normally you just go, here, let's draw this again. So we go here, so this is 1, and this is 0. And then we go up to 1, and there's another one. And then you go up to 2, and there's another one. And it keeps going, and same thing down here. But this would just be like -1, -2, negative blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if we're reflecting the y-axis, that means that we're flipping it, or the x-axis. We're vertically stretching by 2. So instead of just going up 1, we're going to go up 2. We're going to go right 4 and up 1. So right 4, up 1's right there. It reflected the x-axis, so that means that instead of going up to the right, we're going to go down to the right and up to the left. So let's start going, let's just do both of them. So we're going to go down 2 because we vertically stretched by 2 and over 1. Down 2, over 1, down 2, over 1. And then same thing, over 1, up 2, over 1, up 2, over 1, up 2. We have open circles on the right, and then we just connect them between it. Okay, domain here, -infinity to infinity. Range is just the odd integers. There's no x-intercept. The y-intercept is 0, 9, and you could tell if you just go up 2 over 1, that's going to be 9 right there. That point right there is 9. Okay, the extrema, there's none. None increasing, no decreasing. Then as x goes to -infinity, f of x goes to infinity. And as x goes to infinity, f of x goes to -infinity. Okay, remember to take the quiz. Yeah, thank you. Bye.